Hey everyone, Ulria here, and today I'll be looking at Ky'veza on Mythic difficulty. With the ramping damage and healing buff, this is definitely a 2 tanks, 5 healers and 13 DPS encounter. It is fairly simple mechanically, but it requires a decent damage and healing output, and most importantly, it requires your players to know how to press defensives and health pots in order to live until the end. Let's take a look at what's different on Mythic. This time around you will always have 6 portals in every phase. 5 will be spawned by players and 1 will be on the tanks. The ads that come out of them, some will have mass that you need to get rid of by charging the ad through the boss before the intermission hits or you will wipe. There will be 3 in the first phase, increasing by 1 each time, so next one you will have 4 and the final one you will have 5. Clearing a mask will apply a damage jump on the boss, but as long as it's 1 or 2 at a time, they will drop off. If you clear 3 at the same time, the buff she gets will be permanent. In the final phase, however, you cannot avoid the 3 stacks, hence why the end of the fight is the most intensive on healing and surviving. We went with the Echo Strat because it requires a lot less brain power, everyone has a spot to stand on, and the whole work will fall on the tanks to move the boss around in the correct spots. Before we go into how to deal with the fight, let's take a look at the map layout. You will set up 6 markers in each pizza slice. These will be important for the dashes later, and they have to be at a very exact spot, not too far out and not too far in. So you can see we place them here. This is kinda gonna be your indication, just take a look at the vault and place them as you see. The triangle bits you see here is where you will place the initial portals. The ads spawn behind, so you don't want to go too far back or the ads will spawn here and that will mess up with the charges later on, so you want to aim to be around the tip so the ad spawns in the middle of the triangle. We didn't really have a pry on who goes where, you have plenty of time to spread. In Race to World First Vault, you'll see them using rescues. This is because there was a very tight DPS check and allowed range to not move and lose uptime. It is no longer required, and I suggest you do not try and copy this as it will cause more issues than it would solve. For the first charges, these are done clockwise, and what I mean by that is you can see our priest standing on star, being targeted by an ad from the red marker. Over here is his ad, so he's gonna go clockwise now. He would count past 1 marker, so he would skip skull and go on star. You do the same for every ad no matter what marker they're on. The tanks have to drag the boss on a spot where there are massed ads, and this is how you clear some of them. So this is where we had our tank drag it, so this means the ad from star is gonna go through it. It also means the ad from skull is also gonna go through it. In P1, 1 ad is enough, but in P2 and P3 onwards, your tanks need to recognize where 2 ads with mass are because it is crucial to clear at least 2 on the first dash. Everyone else is in the middle and safe from any dashes, and the people, as long as they position exactly on the markers, they will be safe. As you can see, the person is on star. The ad from skull will not target him. It's only the red ad that will go through. It is also very important that you stand on the markers because as the ads dash, they're gonna go behind you. And you definitely want to position the ads in a way that it's gonna end up again on the triangle bit. For the second charges, the boss will be planted in the middle of the room. Every dash will now go through the boss, clearing up any remaining masks. If you're targeted by an ad, you'll go to the opposite side behind the currently existing ad over there. This means your ad will go through the middle and thus the boss, and you won't get hit by the ad already on the location. Range have an easy way of avoiding the lines, you just kinda step back. For the melees, definitely do not risk it, just take a step back until the charges are over and go back in and hit the boss. I want to backtrack a bit here and just show you how you need to stand. As you can see, our mage over here, he gets targeted by the ad from skull, which is now gonna go through the middle. Now there is already a spawn ad over here, and he goes behind this ad because if he goes in front, he'll get 2 stacks of the Queen's Bane. This is very important that you're fast. Put a wind rush, use roars for whenever a dash happens, and you're gonna have enough speed to just run out. You'll get a Queen's Bane dot every time you spawn a portal or get hit by a dash. This hits hard and also spawns orbs after it times out. How you deal with this is when you drop the portal or a nut, you take a step back but not too soon so you can be in range of healers, and move to the left in the middle of the pit to slice. This ensures no orbs are gonna go through the middle. The weak horror you see on your screen references this picture here. This means our priest should be on the third circle in X amount of seconds when the orb shoot out. This is done in this way because Queen's Bane is applied at different times and thus expires staggered, and by spreading like this, it means that your orb people do not get shot by other orbs. I did find this a bit confusing during the fight itself, so I just told people to walk back against the wall and press W for faster suck-in if they need to avoid an orb aiming for them from a different person, and it pretty much worked out well. The daggers are now much faster than heroic, so make sure people understand that they cannot read a cast whatsoever. Most of your deaths will likely be due to the daggers, so the faster people learn they need to move, the better. You really don't have time to sit still. So it's intermission time. You want to make a raid plan and assign a spot for each one of your raiders. Spread them out around the room and ensure everyone has a healer around them. Melees will have a rough time, especially if you run a lot of them. The advice is to have 7, but 8 and 9 is doable as well. You can stack your tanks on top of each other so they take less space, and they also don't really care if they get hit by 2 lines or stand in a pit to slice. One tip, however, is since at the end everyone gets a line, melee might get overcrowded around the tanks. Put classes with immunities like DH, Rogue or Paladin around them so they can immune if things go south with the angles. As a rule of thumb, move as less as possible if you have a blaze line, and ideally move along a line so you don't chase someone with it. You place range in between 2 pizza slices so they can just take small steps and minimize movement. One difference is that on the third intermission you have 3 slices active at the same time as opposed to the previous where you have 2. This just means every time you have to go left right. Couple of tips and tricks for the fight. On graphics, turn anti-allies into none and outline mode to high to get the giant red outline on ads in main phase. This is especially helpful for tanks so they can identify which ads have mass and move accordingly. For the Queen's Bane buff that is applied by a portal or a charge, immunities prevent the application entirely, so if you turtle, ice block, bubble, whatever, before you get hit, you will not get adults nor spawn orbs and can go into the raid instantly. Funnily enough, Bob also prevents the application, so have your paladins run the Bob reduction talent, and they can use it in P1 and P3 on melees to prevent them from losing uptime and save healers some mana. That's about it for Ky'veza. As usual, what I use and raid plan will be in the description below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or join my Discord where I'll be happy to help you. Thanks for watching and have a good one.